My heart resonates, heat enough to burn. My blood's beat is razor sharp. I am on a journey to rewatch and read all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures seasons or parts, and I will be critiquing, reviewing, talking about all of them and rating them on a scale of 1 through 10 because this is the series Casual Critique by yours truly, where we critique all sorts of media like anime, manga, series, movies, books, games, and much more. And today we are going to be talking about well, it's kind of different. Rather than talking about the entire part as a whole, today we are going to be doing something different. And as you have already read the title, you must know. But if by any chance you are incapable of reading, or if you clicked on the video without reading the title, thanks to my great thumbnail making skills, let me tell you what we are talking about today. Today we will be talking about the greatest character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Jonathan Joestar. And rather than critiquing and reviewing any media, we will be reviewing the character. Welcome to this new segment of Casual Critique where we review not only just media anymore, but also characters, thanks to the suggestion of one of my mods, Zolarix. He makes some great edits, go ahead and check him out. Oh, and while you're down there, be sure to also subscribe to my channel. I have a bet with my friend, that I have to get 10k subs before the end of this year. And, but yeah, just watch the video. And also, how, in classic Dhar man fashion, if you subscribe to the channel, you have a chance of getting a PlayStation 5. I mean, hey, it's not a guarantee that you will, win one, but you can, like you might not, just subscribe and find out. But anyways, I'm going to make such a good video that you guys will just, be like, oh, this is a great video, I will subscribe. Now let's not waste any more time and talk about the greatest JoJo's character, the definition of a gentleman, the true gentleman, Jonathan Joestar. Now, Jonathan Joestar, or JoJo, is the protagonist of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 1, Phantom Blood, and unlike the later parts, in Jonathan's era, stands did not exist. The power that Jonathan had is Hamon, or Ripple. Born in 1868 in England, Jonathan is the son of George Joestar I, and he came from a rich family. Now, because the era was sort of the end of 1800s, rich people or rich men especially were always looked towards being true gentlemen, and Jonathan was no different. Even though not strong enough, he would jump in a fight to protect someone else, always acting chivalrous, helping others, behaving properly. Jonathan was always a true gentleman. Now, you must have realized that I have been calling Jonathan the greatest JoJo, and I absolutely stand by it. I will say that Jonathan is the greatest JoJo and Joseph is the best one. The difference is simple. Being great and being best are two different things. Joseph is just next level. He is funny, smart, witty, somehow still alive, cool, good looking, and all in all just the best JoJo. But Jonathan is different. He may not be as funny or witty or even still alive like Joseph is, but he is great. He is a true gentleman, a person who you look up to, a person who sets an example. Jonathan is someone who defines what a man should be. Jonathan was on the road to become a great gentleman, but one day his entire life completely changed. That was when Dio Brando, showed up in his life. I just, So, Jonathan is just so good. What we're going to do now simply is I'm going to explain you the story of JoJo, and I'm going to tell you during all of the 9 episodes of Phantom Blood, all the incidents where Jonathan proved that he was the greatest, JoJo ever. Or is, and will always be. Dio is probably the best JoJo's antagonist, but today isn't about Dio either. Today, we're going to be talking about Jonathan. Dio is a completely self-centered, self-loving bastard who will use anything in his path to achieve his goal. Ever since childhood, Dio met Jonathan, and he had been, ever since Dio met Jonathan in the childhood, he had just been making him suffer more and more. And yes, he did stop for a few years in the middle, but that was because he was secretly planning to kill JoJo's father to get pretty much all of his inheritance. One day, Jonathan found out what Dio was up to, and he went to Asia to confirm his doubts, and that is when he met, undoubtedly, the best JoJo's sidekick, or Joe Bro, Robert E.O. Speedwagon. When Jonathan met Speedwagon, he was nothing more than a thug or a thief who would kill anyone for money, but Jonathan, being the gentleman he is, not only did he defeat Speedwagon, but also forgave him. When Speedwagon asked him why he did not kill him, JoJo's answer was simple yet powerful enough to change Speedwagon's perspective and life. JoJo simply replied, "I am here for my father. I am sure you also have a family. I would not want them to worry." Such naiveness, even in the face of death, such purity of thought, that is what makes Jonathan a true gentleman. But this is just the beginning of his true gentlemanly ways. After finding out about Dio's plot, when he went and confronted Dio used the power of the stone mask, which had the power to make any human into a vampire, and as I explained, became a vampire. When he became a vampire, he tried to kill JoJo instantly, but JoJo's father defended him and sacrificed his life for his son. This is absolutely one of my favorite scenes because this shows two great things. One is that even when his father died in his arms, JoJo did not instantly show signs of hate towards Dio, and his father's death helped support massive character development for him. And the other thing is that in the scene, while dying, JoJo's father gave the purest smile ever, did not show any hate towards Dio, and said that he was the reason why Dio turned out like this. Told JoJo not to hate Dio for what he did, and said, "It isn't bad dying in your son's arm." And oh my god, what a beautiful scene this is. But after that, JoJo meets Mr. Zeppeli, who tells him that JoJo cannot beat Dio without the power of Hamon, and teaches him how to use it. On their journey, they fight a lot of different vampires and zombies, and JoJo kills them very respectfully and as a true gentleman should. One of the most notable enemies he fought was Bruforjo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, an old English warrior who died for his queen. When JoJo went against him, he fought him in the most noble and pure way, and it was just such a good fighting style that even Bruford, an insanely prideful warrior, respected JoJo. In his last moments, when Bruford went to attack JoJo, he did not stop him or dodge. He knew that Bruford was already being destroyed by Hamon. He knew that the prideful warrior Bruford would not attack him because he had regained his humanity. His trust in Bruford as a warrior and a human made Bruford respect JoJo even more. Bruford knew that JoJo was worthy of being called a true gentleman and gave him the Sword of Luck. He used his own blood and made it into the Sword of Luck and Pluck, and died satisfied knowing that he had fought a marvelous man of true compassion. On their journey, they also met a kid whose name I don't really remember, but he was always being bullied and he was never courageous. But in the moment of need, seeing how bravely Jonathan has always been fighting, that kid too showed courage and does something not even most adults could do. But that is not the end. Later, when Jonathan goes to fight Dio, because of the death of his master, Baron Zeppeli, he has matured even more, and when he meets Dio, he tells him bluntly, "It shames me as a gentleman, but I will kill you to satisfy my anger." Jonathan is only human after all, but his honesty and nature is to die for. And out of respect for his previous foe, Bruford, Jonathan uses the Sword of Luck and Pluck to fight Dio. And just when it looked like Dio had frozen JoJo and was about to finish him off, JoJo uses his mind to get out of the freeze and uses the smartest trick in the book to get past Dio's freeze and kills Dio. And Jonathan is so pure that even after killing such a scum and such a horrible entity, Jonathan did not celebrate or laugh. Instead, he cried. He cried for the Dio who had been his brother since childhood, but now he was the one who had to kill him. But we think that Dio is dead. Later we found out that, oh, it's Dio. He's not dead. A while later, JoJo and Erina get married and were going on a cruise for their honeymoon, and it looked like everything was going to be happy from now on. But unluckily on that ship, Dio showed up. Now he wasn't powerful or anything, rather Dio was just a head, and because he was a vampire, he was looking for a new body, and who other is better fitting than his lifelong rival Jonathan. So using deception, he attacked JoJo's windpipe, making it impossible for him to breathe and use Hamon. But rather than thinking about himself, he uses his last Hamon that he had stored in himself to blow up the ship, which was now filled with vampires and zombies. He sacrificed himself so that Erina and a child whose parents died could survive, and in his last moment, he hugged the person trying to kill him. In his final moments, he had no hate or negative feelings towards Dio. On February 7, 1889, not even being 21 years old, Jonathan Joestar died while holding Dio in his arms. In order to save the next generation and humanity, without even thinking twice, Jonathan sacrificed himself. Now yes, any good character will do this, and I agree, but what makes JoJo so much better than any of those other characters is that even in the end, when it looked like everything was going to be happy and Jonathan can live in peace, Dio showed up and destroyed it completely. Despite knowing that because of Dio, JoJo will never have a happy life, JoJo had no hate towards Dio. And when he was dying, he held Dio in his warm embrace. That is what makes him a true gentleman, and that is what makes him the greatest JoJo character. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I would have to give Jonathan a solid 10 out of 10, because this is not a series about how perfect a character should be, because perfection is impossible. Rather, this is a series about how well written and well portrayed a character is, and Jonathan stands on top of any other character when it comes to purity and being called a gentleman. That is why JoJo is our first 10 out of 10 character, and that is really all that I have to say for today. Just a fabulous character. I always look up to him. He's a true gentleman. He should be, an idol for everyone who wants to be a true man, a true gentleman. That is all. And that is really all that I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give the video a like, maybe even subscribe if you haven't already, and if you don't want to miss any more videos like these, comment down below and let me know if you agree or disagree with me, and tell me any other media or character that you want me to review. Join the streams. I stream every day 6 PM IST, where we play a lot of different games, and it is very, very fun. And that's really all. 1k likes and I will do a complete uncensored review of Overflow anime. And if you enjoyed this video, maybe you'll like these ones too. But that is really all.